Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Usually Fixing and Tinkering. And as I said in the last episode at Hogan Autos, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope that maybe I've done some good in trying to promote such vehicles, and I just found it interesting. It's a real massive variety at Hogan Autos, and he does pride himself in getting treasured cars that actually have been in people's garages, locked in barns, undiscovered gems that he's managed to obtain, and I think some of them are going to make some really good cars, hopefully. But anyway, I will now concentrate on what I also wanted to do here. Now, Beatrix has given me a real big issue. I'm going to go over Beatrix's issue in this episode alongside Rob's car collection. So this episode is a bit more of a bloggy diary rather than a focused actual episode. So for a start, let's concentrate on this car. Now, I've just parked up here at Rob's house. We managed to limp it here after that first episode. And yes, so what I'm going to demonstrate now is, as I said to you in the last episode, I tested this cap, which is an X-Spark cap, a genuine X-Spark, okay, brand new, on a Rover 25 tank at Hogan Autos. It went on perfectly fine. Now, what has happened, I think, to this tank over time is there has been a manufacturing defect. Now, this is a genuine MG Rover Mark II facelift tank with the blind hole for the coolant sensor underneath. And I think these, I suspect, were poorly manufactured. I don't think I'm the first one to have this issue, because this thread, you can't really tell. I mean, I could try and zoom in, but there has been some minor damage to the thread. I don't know how that's happened, and I've certainly not done that. I'm very careful with putting the caps on. But I'm just going to put the cap on, and I'm going to twist it on and observe. Okay? Okay, that's getting tight. And there we go, it's jumped. There we go, it's jumped. There we go, and it's come off. It's absolutely, I was going to swear, but it's absolutely gone. There we go. Absolutely. So what it is, I think this thread was absolutely fine. When I bought this cap, this locked on quite nicely, but I've got a feeling that the damage had already started to be done. I think there's an issue with the thread on this cap, and what's happened is, over the period of a very hot journey, this thread has expanded and caused, well, basically the cap is not, it's going to hold pressure, is it? Because when I pulled over before it overflowed the first time, there was bits of coolant on this label. So I suspected something then. But anyway, we've topped up, and we have, thanks to Darren yet again, a second-hand expansion tank, and that will be fitted later on. And Darren's got some fantastic contacts. But I'll tell you something, me and Rob, mainly Rob, was actually contacting, I think, about 12 different breakers, or around 9 to 12. I contacted a couple that I knew about. There was only one Rover 45 that we located in Kent, the Kent area, and all these breakers are based not far from where we are, and only one of them was available. It was diesel, but they all use the same header tanks, petrol, diesel, and the header tank had gone on that one. I find this rather concerning about 45s, that these bits now you just can't get hold of. So yeah, that is a big issue with this car. The coolant pipe for one, and now the header tank. So I'm not quite sure where to go with that. But anyway, I'm going to leave this here. The new header tank, which is off a Mark I 45, so it doesn't have the hole for the coolant sensor. So yeah, the coolant sensor, which is located down here. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that unplugged for now, because it's absolutely crap. I mean, I'm actually going to take it off and just leave the sensor completely detached. There you go. Just put that wiring out of the way, and I'll put that sensor in the car. So for now, I'm not going to have this part of the system, because for now, it's to get the car back home, back running, genuine second-hand tank, perfectly fine. And then I'll have to contact the supplier, who I'm not going to name yet, but depending on the response they give me, I hope to sort it out, because I paid a lot of money for this tank, and that is a manufacturing defect. I haven't done that. Nobody's done that. The only person that's messed with that cap is me. So no, I haven't done that. So I'm assuming that this is just a poorly manufactured tank. It's not the first time. Well, it's not the first time I've heard of problems with these header tanks. Not necessarily the thread, but just general quality issues in the plastic. So it's no surprise. But anyway, I'm going to leave Beatrix here, because I'm going to get Beatrix down to the garage where the part will be sent. And yeah, it's all in hand anyway. It's not a fault with the car, it's a fault with parts, and it's really making Rover ownership rather frustrating at this moment in time. But that's old cars for you. Now I'm going to now show you a couple of cars that Rob has just acquired. There's a couple of cars down by the lockup that I will show you later, possibly in this part or another part, but this is going to be a couple of separate parts. So anyway, the next car that he's bought, I think he must have missed Project Ruby quite a lot since he sold that car to me, because he's gone and bought another one. Yes, now if you guys remember, Rob had a G-Reg Fiesta, a blue Fiesta, Popular Plus, that sold very handsomely for a classic car specialist for £6,200. And after selling that G-Reg Fiesta, a very immaculate blue one, he found a contact in someone else who actually, well, has owned this car for quite a few number of years. This has been to the NEC Classic Motor Show. It has been very tidy in the pictures. It does have some rough edges to it that Ruby doesn't have, but in the same way, it's more tidy in some places than Ruby is currently. This is a G-Reg. It's also a 1.4, believe it or not. Yeah, a 1.4 gear. It is an October registration, 1989. It is pretty identical to Ruby in many respects. It was registered at Marmion Ford, which is not far from here. Fiesta 1.4 gear, lovely intact sticker, and lovely boot, and it is radiant red, and it comes up really nicely. This car does have some rough edges that Ruby doesn't have. There's been some spray painting going on here, and yes, unfortunately we've got some bubbling going on here. The arches are not tidy, but it's not that bad. There's a bit of metal missing at the end of the sill, but overall it's quite straight. The sills have been redone, but they're not particularly good. It's one disappointing area of the car that could have been a little bit neater. It hasn't been done particularly nicely, but overall it's quite tidy. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, it's, again, this has started to go down here. Luckily Ruby's isn't, well, it's not that bad, but as I say, it's things like that can creep up on a car this age. And unfortunately, as every Mark III Fiesta, Mark IV Fiesta and KA is starting to go around here, that's the only thing I would say. A few, it's starting to bubble a little bit, but not too bad in some places. But this is a pretty original car otherwise. I'll just show you inside. The door is open. Everything works, central locking. It's got no fag burden on this one. But I opened the door, and this smells of the 80s. It smells more 80s than Project Ruby. I'm not quite sure why. They all seem to have similar but slightly different smells, depending on how they've been stored over the years. But all I know is that the fellow that Rob has bought this car from, he's not the original owner. He's the second owner. He knew this car brand new. It was his neighbour's car. And so effectively it's almost like being one owner from new, but not quite officially. So he's known the car from brand new, and he bought it off his neighbour some years ago, and he's looked after it. Everything's quite original. Obviously manual gearbox, 5-speed, as you would depict. Most of them are 5 speeds, apart from the Popular, which was a 4-speed 1 litre in the early days, especially on a F&G Reg 1989 and 1990. I think they got rid of the 1 litre after this age. But yeah, generic, it looks like 1989 with that stop lock. Very appropriate indeed. And this car, ridiculously, has only done 49,000 miles, so a tad under Ruby's mileage. But everything is really intact. It's only the driver's seat that has gone really baggy. In fact, the back seat, if you look at the back seat, that's not been redone. That is original. Yeah, that's original. The armrests are in really good condition as well, not really scratched up. No, none of them are actually scratched up at all. They're in really, really good condition. I'm really pleased to see that. So there's bits that are cleaner on this than on Project Ruby. So it's weird with classic cars. You see bits that are better than your car, but bits that are better on your car than this car. See, look, there's hardly any scratches. I think I'm going to have to do some part swapping, to be honest, behind Rob's back. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice in here. It's totally original, and it smells like my auntie's Austin Metro. I'm not quite sure why, but it does have that really nice 1980s Super Mini smell. We have a slight leak in the boot, but I think we know what that is. I think it's while the backlights or something similar to do with the boot seal. But overall, it's a really, really tidy car. And obviously you guys are going to want to see under the bonnet, because this is the area of the car that Project Ruby really is better than every single Mark III Fiesta. Now look at this. What do we have here? Yes, does anybody recognise these floor mats? Yes, I've got these in Project Ruby. And this came with this car, so I'm thinking now, if you didn't buy the waffle mats, did you not get these? Well, I'm keeping the two with Ruby. They're staying with the car, because I've got a feeling that is not a coincidence. So that's quite interesting. Lovely, fantastic, just a clunk as usual. Let's see what this beauty holds back. I might steal some of the trims as well while he's not looking. Do you think he'll notice? Wow. Okay, right. So we have a very familiar sight in this engine bay. Yeah, a very familiar sight. A good 063 battery. Lovely, lovely, from Halfords. That's a good start. No line batteries here with a square terminal conversion. Yeah. It is certainly a lot more dirtier in here than what I would have expected for a car to, well, that was once previously at the MEC, but I've got a feeling that a lot of cars that go to the NEC are not as tidy as what you might think, or what the perception is. Lovely sticker there. Yeah, this engine bay is a little bit more dirtier than what I would have first assumed for a car that's been on shows, but especially at the NEC, but defeats the perception that NEC cars are absolute concourse. And no, this is very honest. This is very similar to how I well, not actually similar to how I would say Ruby, because Ruby was actually a lot cleaner than this, but at the same time it just needs a bit of a scrub up, and that's it really. We've got a bit of a rocker cover leak at the front here, where it's leaking down the front, and the gearbox is quite dirty down there, but there's nothing abominable. I mean, it's got the original HT leads. I was just looking at things earlier that are different apart from the gearbox on Project Ruby, and there's not many things. One of the pipes has been coppered, and there's just a few little changes here and there. Everything's quite similar at the back. Yeah, there's not many things that are actually very similar. The battery tray is in really good condition, and everything looks quite nice. That it is a little bit rusty down the bottom side, but it's not too bad, if I may say so, and it will clean up really, really nicely, and Rob really wants to clean this car up. It's an absolute steal. And what I'm going to try and do very quickly, if I can, without annoying the neighbours, is try and start the car up. It is a little bit different. Right. That's it. Okay. Oh, let's go. Lights on the board. Ooh. Thank you. I'll get copyrighted there. I'll just pull the choke out, and this requires a little bit of choke. Funny out, so need a bit of gas. I've been told this needs a bit of gas to start. Come on. I have to keep my foot on the gas. Take my foot off the gas. Ah, Right, this car needs a bit of gas, so it does work a little bit differently. They're all different classic cars with carburetors. You need to learn how to use it. So the choke is fully out, and it definitely behaves very differently. It's got its original clock, which is a bit different to Ruby's now. Now I've swapped it out. Just take that off. Don't know why that was on in the first place. But everything works. Everything is exactly the same. I do keep seeing a few things that are quite nice about this car. It's really, really nice in there, and the headlining is in really good condition. There's a lot of plus points. But if I just release this, they all sound exactly the same. Now, this car's just started. It's still on the choke. I'm going to keep it on the choke as much as I can, but this car definitely needs a tune-up. Yeah, it's not doing too badly. The choke's still on. Let's do it nicer. Just pull the throttle. This is very stiff. It is struggling a little bit. I'll tell you something, this is very quiet. It's almost as quiet as Ruby. Just goes to show, CVHs, when they're looked after and they have regular oil changes, they will work absolutely seamlessly. Hydraulic tappets love engine changes. This will have a cam belt change. We don't know if it's had a cam belt change, which is, yeah, we'll get that sorted ASAP. But I'm not going to let it idle for too long. We have got to move it in a second anyway to move Beatrix. But oh, lovely, lovely engine. Right, now I'm conscious I'm using a bit of light, so I'm going to move over here. This is the family's Mark IV Golf estate. Very reliable motor. But anyway, this is the one you want to see. Now, this was here when I last came. I just forgot to film it. There was a few cars that I forgot to film, and this is owned by Rob's dad, he's had this for a little while now. It is a 205 Junior, and it is in remarkably good condition. It is a very, very rust-free and clean example of an L-Reg 205. Obviously later on they moved to sort of facelifting the car, just giving some sort of clear indicators and a few little bits and pieces. I'm not going to move the car cover completely off because I'm just going to make this little brief. But if I just use the old-fashioned key, get in, lovely, boot the pop off, and you're going to see such a clean interior of this car. That is lovely material, lovely pattern, and it's just so soft and supple, it's untrue. This is a nice sort of vinyl, sort of squishy material as well. And the carpets in 205s are just nice. They're a nice straight pile. Look at these seats. Yes, 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 absolutely perfection. Actually, I'm just going to come over this side, and you'll see how tidy this car is. I think the camera might be able to pick that up. It's just incredibly straight, wearing lovely mud flaps at the front. And just go on this side. Oh no, this door needs to be manually unlocked. There we go. Okay, just come in this side. I'll remember to. Now this car has straight immobiliser here. Okay, now you have to press a little button to deactivate that. But yeah, that is the latest steering wheel that you got on a 205. Really nice, and everything is absolutely immaculate. The seats are so comfortable in a 205. The material is quite soft, probably unsupportive, probably more unsupportive than comfortable. But if I just get in carefully, oh, it's like being on a sofa. It's so nice. And you've got this lovely little cubby area, not really a tea shelf because it's too shallow. It's just for putting coins and pens, and it's a really, really nice car, this is. And you know, honestly, lovely little clock there ticking away. I think nice. And obviously on the later 205s they have a separate area for the warning lights. They did a bit of a facelift to the dashboard, not a massive facelift, but everything's in really good order. Wow. We'll just get it on the safety catch. Very nice invention that. No bonnet stays, it's just double catch. Oh my goodness me. You know, when I saw this, I think a few months ago when I was last here, I can't believe I didn't film it. I've completely forgot to. And this is how you would have seen one of these from the factory. Look how tidy this engine bay is. Quite a contrast to the 205 diesels we've seen in the last episode. This one has just there's a little bit of surface rust on the seam where they all tend to go, but there's minimal. Look how tidy the pump is, the alternator, and well, diesels, they tend to be quite messy, but this is incredibly clean and tidy, and just a massive well done for the maintenance or upkeep of such a beautiful engine bay. That is how a diesel engine bay would have looked when the car was brand new. It's just something I've never seen on a 205. I've never seen one this clean. I've yet to see one this clean. No doubt there are, but only a few people who are really dedicated. But it's just had all its glow plugs changed, and there's a lot of things that have been done to this to make it reliable. And yes, the usual plumber fittings. Honestly, that is just hilarious. It just gets hilarious. But everything is nice and dry. There are no leaks, and it is just immeasurably clean at the front here. So such a nice example of a lovely 205. And obviously the jack is mounted in this place down here. Very rarely do I see the jack is not missing from these cars. So I'm going to leave this little segment here, and yeah, what a wonderful little car. As you can see, things are getting a little bit dark here, so I'm going to end the filming here. These are two cars. Well, one car obviously Rob has recently bought, and a car that I missed last time. And I'm going to be coming back in another episode to update you in the diary of what's going on, and hopefully we get Beatrix sorted, and we'll see a couple of cars that you haven't seen before that Rob actually owns, and one of them has had quite an engine change. Anyway, I will see you guys in another episode. You take care. Enjoy.